Welcome to the Healed Healers podcast, where we dive deep into the art of self-care. We'll share practical tips and connect with inspiring voices from the world of holistic healing. So grab your favorite cup of tea and let's begin this journey together. Have you ever woken up feeling exhausted, tired, totally freaked out that no matter how hard you try to go to sleep, you've been awake since 2 o'clock in the morning and you hear your alarm go off and you're like, shoot, I am totally stuck with feeling like this for the rest of the day. I've been there many times. I have had chronic sleep issues off and on for years. And for me, it really started in my early 20s when I started developing this lovely life experience called trauma and PTSD. And I didn't realize that there was a bigger symptom of other things that was going on. So sleep, it turns out, is one of the first signs of nervous system distress. And the longer that you have your stress state heightened all the time, the more that your nervous system is kind of living up here in this like edgy little wobbly place of just on the edge of your comfort zone. So when your nervous system is out of its range or uncomfortably on the edge of its range, you're going to feel more excitement, more exaggerated excitement. So even if it's like something really small, you might jump, you might get the startle reflex really quickly. You also don't calm down as easily. Coming down from that edge of too excited is really difficult. And especially if you never take time to pause in your day and keep this part quiet, if the only time that you're actually quiet in your whole life is when you try to hit the pillow, your brain is going to go in overdrive. So I started learning a couple little things that slowly started to make a difference. And then over the years of working with clients, reading up on it, listening to podcasts myself, I've developed a wonderful little strategy to work with my body through those states and ease myself out of that heightened extreme state of it, excitement, basically, that I'm able to calm back down and get back to sleep easier, more often, and to have a regular night sleep too. Some small things that really affect sleep are irregular sleep patterns. So if you don't go to bed at a regular time, it definitely can have effect on you. Excessive screen time. So as much as I know that I love to binge on Netflix before bed, I think most of us do. It really does kind of hardwire your brain to A, not turn off, and B, that especially if you don't have like a blue light filter on your phone, that light stimulates the brain to suppress melatonin, which reduces your ability to fall asleep naturally. Another fun thing is high caffeine intake or, energy drink intake. And so I know for me, for years, I was a Javaholic. I definitely love my coffee. I still have a hard time going without it for long stretches at a time. But I noticed that if I start drinking coffee, several drinks in the morning or more, even again in the afternoon or evening, the ability to fall back asleep or stay asleep for a long time is really inhibited. So other things that can really affect your sleep are like sleep disorders, like sleep apnea. Please don't tell anyone, but I snore, you guys. I snore really bad. My hubby, he like sometimes will go in the other room. He wears earplugs. He'll like wake me up to tell me to turn over. It's terrifying how badly I snore. I'm like my dad. It's what it is. But sleep apnea actually reduces your oxygen intake, which can greatly reduce your ability to stay rested and to stay asleep for long periods of time. And then some people have a form of sleep apnea that actually prevents them from breathing regularly or stop breathing a few times throughout the evening. So your brain is really receiving less oxygen throughout the entire night, and the ability to be rested in the morning is greatly impaired. So if you're feeling like you're sleeping like regular hours, but you're not ever feeling rested, that is something to go look at. And that requires a sleep study, going to get checked out by doctors, and wearing crazy machines. I know none of us want to do it, you guys, but before and after, I've seen the difference with family members, with friends and clients, to see the difference that, you guys, it's time for me to get a sleep machine. I don't want to talk about it, but it's a real thing. Other things that really help that are kind of inhibitors for sleep is like restless leg syndrome. And so if you are kicking a lot in the night, or you feel like your legs are cramping or twitching, or you just can't turn off the muscle spasms, that is typically a nutrient deficiency, most often magnesium or potassium deficiencies. And so these are things that are very easily addressed by, maybe doing some walks in the evening and then taking a magnesium or, electrolyte supplement before you go to bed. That makes a really big difference to help your muscles unwind and be less crampy so that you can sleep all the way through the evening too. So, if you're really talking about the lifestyle factors that affect sleep, there's a few things that we really have to focus on. First is schedule. So I know no one wants to say, oh, it's my bedtime. We all thought it growing up. I know me especially. I was kicking and screaming whenever someone told me to go to bed. But as an adult, guess what? Your nervous system is still wired the same way as it was as you were a kid. So learning to have a wind down routine, a wind down ritual, so that you are consistent, you kind of have this chill out time that you go through so that you're not just like, it's bedtime, lights off, let's go to bed. You really need to kind of relax your nervous system into sleep. And that relaxation happens through habits, through regular things that you do most days, maybe not the same thing every day, but most days, kind of the same thing, like washing your face, washing your teeth, putting on some relaxing music, listening to a relaxing podcast, turning the lights down. And, eventually you're kind of, I like to say, like romancing yourself into sleep. So those wind down rituals should be 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how much time you need to relax before you go to bed. For me, my wind down starts at like 7 and I go to bed at 8:30 or 9. I'm real. Sometimes I stay up till 10 or 11 watching Netflix, you guys. But for the most part, like that chill out time is baked into my daily recipe. And it really makes a difference of whether I'm falling asleep in 20 minutes or in 3 hours. So schedule is number one. Number two, your environment. And this is something we call sleep hygiene, getting rid of all distractions so that anything that could potentially keep you awake, the buzzing, the lights, the alarm clock blaring next to your face, the, light lamp in your window, your cat trying to bug you in the middle of the night, like whatever it is, learning how to minimize those distractions as much as possible. So get blackout curtains, get a face mask if you need to, earplugs if you need to, or have a sound machine or some sort of like white noise machine, unplug all the distracting lights and alarms and whatever in your room. If anything buzzes, I want to just say like buzzing sounds or ticking sounds drive me crazy. And that's the one thing I have to like just get rid of. And then, if you have pets, I love them, they're great. Either start having boundaries with them or totally kick them out of your bed forever and kick them out of your bedroom even. So for me, like that, when I had cats, I had to lock them out of my room at night. Otherwise, I just didn't sleep because they were up, but I wasn't. Third thing, so environment, check. Schedule, environment, check. The third thing is taking care of your body. And so for me, this is a good combo of beautiful things to support yourself on a daily basis, but it also affects greatly your sleep. So relaxing herbs, we'll talk about some of those in a minute. Magnesium, I think magnesium is really fantastic for relaxing your muscles, getting your brain to function, helping with PMS, so many things. It's responsible for 400 processes in the body. For some people, that could be like, I like using magnesium gummies because they're like a treat before bed, but they're sugar free. My clients seem to be really compliant with that. So I'm on the gummies, like gummies over taking a pill. Most people will do gummies. Other people do Epsom salt baths, and I love baths. Not everyone has a bathtub. If you don't, you can also always just do a foot soak before you go to bed, and that can be amazing. And then if anything, it can always just be like a hot rag rubbed on your face and then rubbed on your feet, rubbing some essential oils. I'm a huge fan of self massage before bed. Essential oils like lavender, chamomile, rose, like things that are calming and relaxing, lemongrass, rubbing some of those on your neck, on your feet. Of course, those are diluted in oils, so you're not just putting them on straight, but mix them with a little bit of massage oil or something and rub them on, and happy goodness comes. And then also gentle stretching. And so especially if you've got like this movement twitch thing that happens at night, getting into a habit of like releasing some of that anxiety and tension before you go to bed can really help you unwind so that you're ready to finally relax and sleep when you're there. And if that doesn't work, there's also like progressive, like contract and relax exercises where you like basically contract and relax every muscle of your body from your toes all the way to your head. And those kind of active meditations are really great for people with those twitches that don't seem to stop. Um, so schedule, environment, body. Last lifestyle pointer is headspace. And I know a lot of people don't want to admit that you can't sleep, it's all in your head thing happens. But I do want to say when I can't sleep, it typically is all in my head. It is my brain going nonstop, thinking about how to solve problems, the argument with my boss, the thing that I didn't tell my partner that I really want to tell him, like whatever it is. And so I want you guys to think about like this space up here is also a sacred space. And if it's filled with trash, of course you can't relax in it because it's a trashed up environment inside. So I was really hesitant for years about meditation, but man, it really changed a lot for me. So I really like to start with just a simple 2-minute meditation because anything longer, especially if you're unpracticed, unskilled at meditation, can seem like a lot. I'm just gonna be honest, it seemed like a lot. I remember doing 2 minutes a day to start, and I thought that that was a lot. And 2 minutes of hearing what was happening up here and hearing all the trash talk that I had going on inside was enough to make me want to pull out my hair and go running and screaming down the road. Like I had a lot going on up there. And so by doing this practice of just for 2 minutes, sit on my pillow, literally it was the pillow I sleep on, or sit on the floor or sit in a chair, it doesn't really matter. Just sit down, shut up, and be quiet for 2 minutes. And it's amazing what comes out, what you start to observe, and how quickly you start to train your nervous system instead of talking all the time inside your head to listening to what's going on and observing what's going on. And eventually it starts to quiet down faster and faster. So this is a way to just kind of let the stuff out so you're not living in it all the time. Another practice for clearing your headspace is journaling. And I've been journaling for probably 15, 20 years now. It's one of my favorite practices. Every morning I get out a journal, I blurb on page. There's no rhyme or reason to what happens there. And it's literally just dumping out all the crud in your head on paper so it doesn't have to live here all the time. If you're not into journaling, that's okay. It could just be like, writing down lists or writing down events that happened or, keep it really simple. And if you're looking for journaling how-tos, one of my favorite book is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, a really good read. But otherwise just like YouTube it. There's a million people that tell you how to journal online. It's great. And then the last thing for clearing a headspace is listening to uplifting, positive things. And especially, nowadays, there's so much going on in the world. There's so much media talking about the scary, big, horrible things that are happening everywhere. I try not to watch politics because that will ramp me up and my nervous system gets overly excited very quickly. If you're really into politics, good for you, but don't listen to it right before bed. It's not the right time. Don't listen to it first thing in the morning. Give yourself a buffer to listen to positive, happy, uplifting things that inspire you, because listening to the scary stuff all the time isn't going to do anything for your nervous system or your sleep. So as we get into a routine of keeping with a consistent schedule, clearing out your environment, like taking care of your body, clearing out the trash in your head, these things are essential for keeping you going to get through and establish a regular routine with your body. So again, your nervous system likes routine. It thrives on being able to rely on you to do the same thing and put yourself to bed like a functional adult. So for those who need some extra support, this is where herbs really come in. And for me, golly, like when I discovered nervines, these are herbs that help your nervous system, my life was transformed. That's why in our Herbal Apprentice program, it's like the first thing we have people try are nervine herbs, because we all need nervines. We all need a way to relax and de-stress. And especially in today's world, like we're screaming for the need to be able to sleep and rest and relax a little bit more. So some of my favorite nervines are, if you're going to take them during the day, which I want to just say, if you can't sleep at night and you just take a bunch of sleep herbs right before you go to bed, and you're like, they didn't work, herbs suck. It's because you didn't really understand the main purpose behind them. And so the first role of nervines is to restore your nervous system. And you can only do that by taking them all the time, so that you're, instead of living up here, living here where it's closer to relax. And so if you're just taking them right before bed, it's like taking it down like a half an inch, versus if you take them all the time, you can really bring your baseline to like a tolerable level, and then you can sleep better. So my favorite like nervine restorative herbs are skullcap. Skullcap is really specific for the running mind. It is great for when you've been like long-term overstressed, like at your max, been going through COVID, whatever, it's definitely like, it's rich in magnesium, so it helps your muscles relax. It's like in heavy doses or higher doses right before bed, it helps you sleep. In small doses, you could take it throughout the day and just chill more, and it's really lovely. I also really love oat straw or milky oats. Oats is a grass, it's in the grass family. And because it's like a grass, it is so gentle that everyone can have it, especially if people are on medications. It's one of the few herbs that I feel like is safe enough and gentle enough that most people can do. And then, and that one, daytime, nighttime, anytime, all the time, the more the better. If you like it in tincture form, milky oats is the concentrated extract in a tincture. Oat straw is the grass, the stalk of the plant, versus milky oats is the fruit or the oat of the plant. So oat straw tea or milky oats tincture, either one, all day long, work great. And then St. John's wort, not for people on medications. I'm just going to make that very clear. As much as people are like, it's for depression, it's not for anyone who's recently been on antidepressant medications at all, or is currently. So St. John's wort, I say, for people that are normally healthy and don't have anything else going on and are not on medications, then you can use St. John's wort. So St. John's wort is another great, like, chill you out, kind of uplifting. That's why they say it's good for depression. It's not amazing, it's uplifting, and uplifting can help a lot when you're just at a baseline. But St. John's wort is also really great for calming, relaxing. It's also great for muscle tension, stress too. So those are our, take them all the time, get used to being chilled and relaxed more often, and then we can have some stronger evening wind down teas. And so in the evening, I like to have like this class of herbs that we call sedatives. And herbal sedatives, they're not like medication sedatives that knock you out. Sedatives are, they sedate your nervous system back from heightened to like middle, maybe lower even, but they calm you down. So some sedating, relaxing herbal nervines are like chamomile, holy basil, or tulsi, ashwagandha, lemon balm, mint. Like, these are all fabulous chill me out herbs without being like a strong knock you out herb. So you can have these like when you come home from work and just start this evening routine slowly winding down. And especially for people that like have had a really hard time with sleep, I would actually recommend this wind down ritual starting when you get home from work, starting to have that unwinding process from the very beginning of getting home, instead of waiting till 9, 10, 11, or 12 o'clock. And that could be like one of these chill herbs, And then when you're really trying to sleep, this is when we have a heavier class of sedatives, herbal sedatives, that are called hypnotic herbs. And so hypnotic herbs are the ones that truly help you sleep. And I want to just say, some herbs work for some people and some don't. And the only way you're going to figure this out is by experimenting and trying them one at a time. This is exactly what we do in our Herbal Apprentice program, is we actually sit down and try each herb individually, so that we know for us, like, does this herb really work for me? Or is this herb work for everyone else, but it really keeps me awake? And so some of these herbs, like valerian root, for example, I love valerian root. It smells kind of like stinky socks. Like, you put it in a jar, in a trunk, in a back of the closet, and you can still smell it through the wall. one of my favorite herbs. It's weird. But some people love it. And it's like, for me, it's like muscle relaxing, super calming. It feels like the weight of the world gets taken off my shoulders. And for about 5 to 10% of the population, it makes them insomniac. So for me, it works great. But for Vata type people, people that are already a little wirely and wired and excited, like it doesn't work. It actually makes them more excited. It's a very interesting thing. Passion flower. I hate the taste of passion flower. I'm getting to like it a little bit more than I used to, but like the flavor just, and so most of my students are like, oh my God, this is the most amazing herb. And functionally, I love the feeling of that herb, but it's not my happy herb. And I only know this because I've tried it so many times back and forth that I'm like, it's not the herb I take to go to sleep, but I do love it a lot for pain and for muscle tension. For me, it works well for that. But for going to sleep, it never worked. For most of my clients and my students, it is really specific for like ruminating thoughts. So like when you just can't get this to shut up for like thinking the same things over and over and over again, that passion flower herb is great for winding down the mind and helping your nervous system readjust. Um, Again, got to try the herbs to see which ones you like. Skullcap, to me, again, in heavy doses, I take a lot of that right before I go to bed, and that's really great for me. It's worked for some periods of my life, and for others, it stopped working. And that's because different things were going on. Catnip. This is one that I love because it's like everybody's herb. Catnip is not just for cats, you guys. Catnip is for people that need to sleep. And so it's like the happy, friendly little mint family herb that tastes so sweet and innocent. But man, like I have fallen asleep with a full cup of catnip tea in my hands multiple times now and woken up hours later and like, oh my God, and spilled tea all over but it's so effective that I fall asleep mid-cup. It's pretty cool. So catnip is a great one. Great for kids and elders too. Gentle enough for a lot of people on medications. Again, check with your doctor first. Kava. Kava is another really fun one that lovers and haters. I used to hate it. I've grown to love it a lot over the years. But a lot of my students are like, whoa, this is a really powerful one. It's such a strong muscle relaxer that when you take a bunch at once, you literally like start talking like this because your tongue is so numb that you can't talk. All right. Like your kava tongue is real. I love it. But anyways, kava is a great muscle relaxer. It's great for unwinding for pain and stress and tension, like real physical tension. It can be really cold energetically. So if you're a cold body person, it can aggravate you. I'm warm bodied, so I like it. But in the wintertime, it's too cold for me. In the summertime, it's one of my favorite drinks. Hops. Hops is another one. Hops is the ingredient in beers that make them bitter. Hops are a beautiful little flower that are super bitter and kind of harsh tasting, but the calming effect, the unwinding effect that people get from beer, part of it's the alcohol, but the other part is the hops. And hops is amazing for relaxing tension and just chilling a little bit so you can get to a sleepy state. Sleepy state, I can say that. And then the last I'd say is lavender. And everyone knows lavender. It's a good one. It's so strong, it's so effective, it's so smelly and delicious. Some people think it tastes like soap. I get that a lot from my students. Some people think it's like floral and amazing. And you love it or you hate it. But for me, lavender is a great little sprinkle in a bigger mixture, so it's not super bitter. But it's also a very warming herb. So for some people that are too hot bodied, lavender can be irritating because it's so warming. So I'm a little hot right now. You can tell my office is getting sticky. Anyways, so again, for our herbal support for restorative sleep, again, take your nervines throughout the day, get yourself wound down, start that wind down ritual as soon as you get home from work or earlier in the evening, I should say, with some relaxing sedative herbs, and then go into the hypnotic, stronger herbs later in the evening. There's also flies apparently in here. Sorry, guys. All right, a few other little tips. In the afternoon, try to cut out the caffeine I know it's hard, but switch to something decaf, switch to Ticino or roasted dandelion root. Those things really help to, again, detox some of the caffeine out of your body and maybe even some of the stress. Of course, we got to talk about food for just a second. Like melatonin production happens when you have the precursor neurotransmitters. And those are things that come from like L-tryptophan, which if you've never heard of that, comes from turkey and chicken and pumpkin seeds. So if you want to increase that neurotransmitter pathway that helps you relax, if you're non-vegetarian, turkey or chicken as your dinner meal might actually be really great. If you're vegetarian, sprinkle some pumpkin seeds on your salad or something, really great to do. Low blood sugar in the evening is key. And I want to just clarify this for a second. I'm hypoglycemic. If I eat too many carbs or sugars on a regular basis, my blood sugar goes like this. And that means my lows, I can't sleep. So if I've had a lot of carbs throughout the day, I'm going to have a blood sugar crash, and that will keep me awake for hours until I eat something. So for people that know that they're hypoglycemic, you get hangry throughout the day or in the evening. Instead of having dessert before bed, have protein before bed. Having a little protein snack is a really great way to like stabilize your blood sugar so you can sleep throughout the evening. Or, try not to have sugar in the evening in general, in the afternoon and evening. I know, especially if you're like hitting an energy low, we go through that like 3 p.m. like little pick me up, or the 8 p.m. pick me up after dinner or whatever. Eating more sugar will make your blood sugar bounce around, which will cause you to be insomniac. And it took me years to figure this out. And when I finally started putting that last piece in there of my blood sugar, my food, my nutrition plays a role in how I sleep, like the magic sauce really started happening. So as you guys really start putting together your sleep foundations, I want to just say it's trial by error. It's okay to try some things and they not work. If you're trying an herb or you're trying one of these protocols we talked about, don't get frustrated. It's about experimenting and figuring out what works for you. And for me, I still have nights that I can't sleep. It does happen occasionally when I'm really excited, like when I started thinking about developing this podcast, this is a YouTube channel. I started getting so excited I couldn't sleep. I find that like journaling in the middle of the night, learning to work with your insomnia instead of against it is really useful because it meant that I didn't have enough slowdown time during my day to process my excited feelings and all of my ideas that it was coming out in the middle of the night. And I get a lot of fun business creative stuff done in the middle of the night sometimes because I don't have enough time off to let this roll. So, find things by experimenting, doing one or two things at a time. Write down what you're doing as you're going so you can keep track, because I know sometimes I'll try and be like, oh, it didn't work, I'll never do it again. And if I actually started writing it down every day, I'm like, oh, actually this worked several nights, but then this one night it didn't work. And that wasn't because my brain didn't shut up. That's because my body was spasming and I just forgot to take magnesium for like a couple of days. So, keep up with it, keep experimenting. And if you guys have questions, feel free to send me some comments, DM me, email us, whatever. And I'd be happy to help you guys kind of foolproof your own sleep routine that really works for you. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Our next episode coming up, we're going to be going into immune health because we're getting into the season. And so if you guys want to learn all the fun things about how to get ready for cold and flu season ahead, join us for that. Also, you guys, please leave us a review, give us a comment, thumbs up, like, share, all the good things. This is how we keep our healing community growing and supported, and we want to support you guys for years to come. So thanks for joining us, guys, and have a great day. In case you've been liking the tips from this episode, we've made a special little self-care quiz for healers down below. You can find it in the show notes. And we really like to give fun little cutesy quizzes like this to our students and to you guys, because this is how we get reminders for ourselves of like, hey, are we taking care of ourselves in just one corner of our lives or in all corner of our lives? Truth is, doesn't matter where you're at, you can always use a little bit more self-care. So take this quiz, figure out what's missing in your little habits, and come up with real concrete how-to next steps so that you can start building this into your life and your routines too. So take the self-care quiz. It's down below. It's free. and we'll teach you more tips and tricks as you go. Hey guys, if you like this video, then go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button down below. This is how we get more views. This is how we keep this podcast going. And this is how we can help you guys as healers and herbalist practitioners to continue your journey with all the behind the scenes tips and wisdom here. So please like and subscribe. And if you really love it, send it to a friend too. Thanks guys, and see you soon.